Everything's all good. So testing. So testing. All right, good.
Testing.
Does it sound all right on your end?
I didn't even go in yet. It still says
I
I
didn't
didn't
even
even
go
go
in
in
yet.
yet. Just pull up your page.
I might want to turn myself a little bit down because I see I'm in the
you're
yellow.
You didn't show up in my follow channels yet.
Oh. All right. It sounds all right to me. All right.
All right, I'm just waiting for this commercial to end.
Yeah, I got ads.
Fucking 30-second commercials is ridiculous.
Jeez. Okay, maybe I'll. If I can change that, I would really want to make it like 15 seconds or something.
Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous. But I think it sounds alright.
Sounds good. Okay. Well, I'm gonna just welcome to all this people watching so far. I think we have 3 viewers so far. Jeez. But yeah, this is the first episode of Inside the Mind Game. My name is I don't know, Darian. I'm just gonna say my real name. It's fine. And I'm here with Randomator as my first guest. I'm gonna make sure everything's recording well. And so this podcast is oriented around fighting games. It's not Third Strike exclusive, so that means that if you just have an affiliation with fighting games, and if you have a passion for it, and if you have a good history with it, whether or not it's good or bad, I would love to know. So, Randomator, when did you start playing fighting games, and when did you get competitive?
I probably started playing fighting games technically when I was a little kid. We had Mortal Kombat 1 for the Genesis at my cousin's house, and whenever I went over there to visit and play with him, and we just swept each other. We didn't know how to play, so
yeah, that's mainly how they all go, right? It's like you just press random buttons.
For Mortal Kombat, sweeping uppercuts, but in every game, it's just you find the one spammable move and you try to abuse it. But competitively, it's probably when I found Third Strike. In 2011, my friend introduced it to me, and I was hooked. And then Online Edition came out, and I was really hooked. Yeah. And I probably rocked that until about 2014, and then I kind of was really slowing down on fighting games altogether. And I think Street Fighter V was kind of the last straw. I just stopped playing fighting games altogether up until recently when Fight K2 came back out.
Mm-hmm. That's a godsend.
That was coincidental. Right there. Honestly, I was just like, you know what, I miss playing Third Strike.
Mm-hmm.
So I pulled up Fightcade, and Fightcade 2 had just come out the same week.
Right. Yeah. So Fightcade has been a help to everyone lately, right? It's more of that one escape because we're on quarantine, and if you want to play fighting games with rollback, then you fire up Fightcade and just go in. There's a ton of people on there.
You have a massive library of arcade games. What was it, 7K games?
Yeah, 7,000 games if you go in the search bar, right?
Yeah, so 7,000 plus games, and you can play them with anybody, You just got to have the same ROMs.
Yeah, just have the same ROMs, okay connection, no Wi-Fi, hopefully, you can tell if someone's using Wi-Fi.
I will not play you with my Wi-Fi.
Right.
That's the consensus is I will not play you via Wi-Fi.
Right. No Wi-Fi, no game. So I wanted to touch up on this because I feel like it's gonna hit those key moments in stories and everything. So I want to ask, what was your hardest struggle when it came to fighting games? What was your biggest hurdle that you had to do in order to get good, or if you went to an event, what did you do to overcome it?
Biggest hurdle, probably the hurdle I'm going through right now. And that's probably going to be continuous. The hurdle just gets harder, but if you keep pushing through it, you will make it through. I was just talking to a friend about it the other day. Actually, it's just how character building this game really is, because maybe it's not necessarily the game, but because it's able to actually hold my heart long enough for me to actually push through.
Right. Because you love it so much, you just want to get better, right?
Right. So I just keep playing it, And but I think really the hardest moment for me was probably when I stopped playing fighting games altogether.
Like
Because
that big break you said earlier.
yeah, the big break I had. So I stopped playing Third Strike around then because I stopped growing, and
Mm-hmm.
like everybody was kind of growing around me, and I was getting frustrated that I wasn't. And I couldn't figure out what it was that I was doing wrong. And eventually, it just kind of slowed down my pace, and that was probably the hardest moment. But
Uh.
like, I don't know, I never really asked why. You know, like I didn't really.
Mm-hmm. Do you
The only
think?
people I was
Or you can go. You can go.
the only people I was playing with were people who were like at my level or around my level. So like they didn't always have the words to say. You know, they like
Mm-hmm.
when you're near someone, it's like I don't really know how to correct your mistakes. I just know I can beat them. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Do you think it's like because of this upcoming new generation of like fighting game players that they're just like for some reason they just have so much talent on their hands, you know?
It seems like it. It seems like the young kids, and it's mostly because of information, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like kids coming out the gate, coming through the gates are fucking ridiculously strong because of all the knowledge they have right out the gate,
Right.
right? They didn't have that back in the arcade days. They had just kind of built it from scratch, picked certain truths from hearsay, which was hard to do, you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, and just get your ass beat in the arcades. I guess that was the way it went. And
Right. And
I didn't do the arcades, but
mhm.
that's the old Wild West, what I hear.
The Wild West, like where it all
Yeah,
started, you know? When the
yeah,
world was in black and white, you know? Uh,
simpler times.
yeah, simpler times when you just like cracked open a bag of quarters and just like went at it. Or so they say. I've never actually grew up in the arcades. Um,
I learned the quarter down etiquette years after it happened to me. Funny enough, so like I was in China in 2011. I had just gotten a Third Strike, and I was like looking for arcade cabinets around all over, which I couldn't find one, by the way, in China. I was
mm,
like in Tianjin, and I mean now there's probably even less arcades, right? But like back
right.
then, I could not find a single Third Strike cabinet. No matter,
Wow.
I walked into probably 30 arcades, 20 25 arcades. Like I walked in so many arcades, and I could not find a Third Strike cab.
I remember, I think Rakurai was saying in China, it's mainly King of Fighters and Tekken, right?
I don't
Uh,
remember. I remember seeing one Street Fighter 2 cab. I remember seeing one Broken 4 cab.
mm.
And then the rest of the times, actually, yeah, I do remember seeing a lot of King of Fighter cabs. I
Yeah,
do remember
like
seeing a lot
they're
of King
like
of Fighter cabs.
China's oriented around a bunch of King of Fighters and Tekken and everything. Like
Yeah.
nowadays, at least.
And so I was playing Street Fighter 2 at the arcade near the school I was staying at.
Mm-hmm.
And some guy puts the token down. And I was just like, oh, shit. And I took the token and I used it.
Okay, I understand.
And he was just like lost and he put another token down. And I was like, oh, well, I got my ass beat. So I was like, oh, thanks. So I used it again. And like he did it the third time, he put it down really aggressively, and I did it again. And then he just turned around, like started mocking me, like to the rest of the crowd, and just like this fucking guy, and, you know, in Mandarin basically. He's
Mm-hmm.
probably like this fucking guy keeps taking my quarters and uses them. And says thank you. I don't understand.
Right.
All I heard was the sarcastic and says thank you basically, and like
Mm-hmm.
um. So yeah, I found out years later that they put quarters down to say I'm ready for next game.
That is an amazing story. If someone put a
So,
quarter down, I'd be like, I don't know. I would probably think that they are saving it for later because I've seen a bunch of movies where they do that. But if I
yeah, I didn't
haven't,
know that.
I'd probably just take it and just use it, like in a Chuck E. Cheese or something, you know?
Yeah, it was just a token sitting there. I was like,
Right. Or
okay.
like
He
he's
put it right
probably
next to me, like he's
right.
letting me play another.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yo, you're bad. You need more practice. That's what I've got out of it.
Like I'm giving you extra time. I'm letting you learn, you know.
Yeah. But
Um.
that was definitely not what he was trying to send me the message of.
Mm-hmm. And in the relation of like the second question I asked you, does anxiety play like a big role of performing or being in any match in general? Like let's say an online tourney or if you're performing in general, does like anxiety?
Neutral.
Hmm?
Neutral. I actually suffer from anxiety generally.
Mm-hmm.
So
Same.
um it it doesn't it's always there,
Mm-hmm.
and it does flare up in like online play, in tournament, and anything where I can put any sort of weight on it, there will be weight on it, and my anxiety flares. And
Okay.
I'm trying. I've learned to like take things easier over the years, and I'm still working on taking things easier
Mm-hmm.
and taking things like just a lighter approach to everything. And I think that's key for people like us. Is
Right.
just
This.
trying to be light on your approach on anything. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like yes, you only live once, but mistakes happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of life. It's part of what makes you into the character that you are. Like, what were the things that really changed you for the better? It's all the bad things, right? So,
Right. Yeah.
um,
Um.
I don't
So
remember what's going with that thought.
it's okay. So with me, it's like let's say there's like a really like the Jazzy Fight Night, right? I could say for example,
Mhm.
uh, going against Chulok, it was just like a really stressful moment because that was the run back of me losing 7 or 8 times in a row, and I could not get a number on him. And when I did, he won the next one, and he won the first to 10. It was over.
Mhm.
And that Jazzy Fight Night was just like a bunch of anxiety because it's like, man, this guy could crush me potentially because of that comeback factor, you know?
Yeah, yeah. He
And
he likes he grabs the momentum and he gets in your head, and that's it.
hmm hold on, I'm afraid you can hear my Discord ping, so I'm gonna like mute my Discord. Oh wait, no, I should not do that because you're talking. That's so weird.
Yeah.
Okay, well, hopefully,
My camera freeze. Okay, no, it didn't.
oh, hopefully, no one heard those Discord pings. Uh, so what I was saying before, like when it comes to me and like JFN, Jazzy Fight Night, it was just super stressful because it's like this guy could crush me. This guy, don't get cocky because you did that last time and he beat you 8, 9 times in a row and he like won the first to 10. Like it was
Yeah,
over like that. So you need to be sharp, on point the whole entire time. And that me thinking like you gotta like be close to flawless just scares me because it's like I've never done a flawless thing in my life, you know?
yeah. I have like crazy good moments, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like how I've always been. It's like I'll have like highlight moments. I'll be really, really, really ridiculously good at what I'm playing
Mm-hmm.
in bursts, and then I'll be like absolute trash again, like in
Right.
no time. But
Uh, but that's like I could translate that to like after Jazzy Fight Night and me playing Ibuki like all the time. I recently and ever since I just stopped playing Ibuki. Like I only play Ibuki if I feel like the matchup is better. But in general,
mhm.
for some odd reason, I don't have fun playing her anymore. She just feels so stiff. That's why I'm going to Urian or Ken now. I've been playing a lot of Ken. Because I
You
just
probably
like the
just burned yourself
mobility.
out.
I probably did.
She's one of the most nimble characters in the game,
Mm-hmm.
so it's probably just that you burned yourself out on playing her.
Most likely. Uh,
She's strict. She's very strict, but she's not a stiff character. So
right.
like the leniency on landing her combos is very strict. So that might be what you're going for in terms of stiff.
Mm-hmm.
Like her set play is so tight, and
Yeah.
if you're not tight, then you're fucked.
Exactly.
And um, yeah, definitely, I can see why you would want to like branch out to other characters and kind of like see like, okay, well, who can I like fuck up a little bit with? Like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the higher levels, that was kind of like what Yun was like to me. Yun kind of, that's why I kind of get a similar vibe between Yun and Aboki. Um, they also just kind of like pace the same way, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, where the fuck was I going with these thoughts, man?
It's okay. I mean, I am practically the same way. It's like I lose track of thought, but you know where you're going with it, right?
Originally, yeah, I like have a plan with it, and then I get sidetracked in like a side story, and then just forget. So, oh, that's why I dropped Yun, is because I also don't really like do things perfectly, right? I'm like the hype machine, but I'm not really like always there. So,
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't continuously play Yun the way he needed to be played. So, that was I actually dropped Yun before I found Chun. I dropped Yun. I knew I was going to be dropping Yun a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I stopped playing the game, I knew I was dropping it if I came back.
Right. Uh, so I want to touch up something because this is with Fightcade, right? This is like a very, very common thing that's been going on. So whenever streamers play Fightcade and they play some randoms, or if you're just playing with a friend in general and streaming, right?
Mhm.
Uh, when is the line drawn with just playing the game intentionally or disrespect? Like, has there ever been a time where you do a gimmick on purpose or just to taunt someone? Like, or if you can sense it, just like sensing the gimmick, or if you know they're trying to like fuck with you, you know?
So I can sense it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning of my streaming, so like I took it more seriously
Mm-hmm.
than I really wanted to, but I felt like I needed to be strict about it because I just wanted to be fair about it. So like if I saw somebody taunt post game, then that was it. If I saw somebody teabag post game, then that was it. But like realistically, you could tell when someone does something with malice intent, right?
Right.
And you can tell when someone does it just to be like completely fucking with you, like not just ribbing you, but just
Mm-hmm.
completely fucking with you. And that's when it's like, all right, you need to chill the fuck out. Yeah.
Right.
But
Like
there's
the famous Alex stomp. Like whenever you wake up from that stomp, he does another stomp, right?
yeah. So that one, that one's BMing, but it's like it's also kind of a playstyle thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Like if it works, do it again, you
if it
know?
works, then you're not blocking it. I'm taking my easy win, right? So human
Mm-hmm.
nature is to try and find the easiest route.
Right. And that just
And if
shows,
if stopping's working, then why would I try anything harder, right? So
yeah, that just shows like that also shows like you can't play honest in these games anymore because playing honest doesn't work when it comes to that, right? Like
um,
or in like to
uh,
an extent, I would say.
it depends, man. Like if you're trying to play honest with 12, like you're gonna get fucking wrecked, right?
Exactly. Like you're trying to play the ground game with 12, you're going to get blown up. Like if you're
But
playing
if you're
against a
playing honest
Ken,
with Ken, then yeah, you're fine. You're playing
mhm.
honest with Ken, yeah, you're fine. You know.
Mhm.
But uh, the same thing with other games.
Right.
Try to play honestly with like certain characters. You can play honest to a point, right? Then you get your gimmick and you run with it, like Yuri in a Street Fighter Five. He plays honest footsies until a point, and then he's
Mhm.
just complete bullshit.
Exactly.
I think
Um
it's just the way the games are being made. I don't know.
right. Or I don't know. So like I feel like the parry mechanic in Third Strike, like it was I feel like it was meant to be abused and learned at the same time. Uh to the point where let's say you know how to get parries down, right? You can like parry Shinku flawlessly and then they try to follow that up, you parry it. Or you could
Hmm.
just parry on wake up and just do shenanigans afterwards cuz you got a lucky parry, you know? It was
Hmm.
meant to be abused and it was meant to be learned at the same time. So those clash and you actually get who really comes out as the victor in my opinion. And
Okay.
sadly, in some cases, it's shenanigans that wins against being really like skilled. You know, that's at
Well,
the end of the day.
that's entry level like understanding the parry system, and like
Hmm.
it's more so understanding the timing of the game. The game has a tempo, and each character has a sort of tempo that runs congruent, I guess, with
Hmm.
the game's tempo.
Right.
And everybody like tends to play around that pace. So that's why pairing seems so easy to me. Is because like everybody plays to a pace until you realize you're playing to a pace, and then you break through that level.
Hmm.
And that's kind of what separates like save the C's from the B's, in my opinion.
Right. Uh. Yeah. You actually nailed that one. Yeah, I actually agree 100% on that. Um. So like, let's say I could share a story with me actually when it comes to like breaking through that barrier and like understanding the rhythm of the game. Right.
Mm-hmm.
When I started I think it's been like 2 years now, or like a year and a half, or a year and 4 quarters. I don't know, but it's been over a year since I started playing Third Strike, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it was super hard for me to understand like when things were safe or things weren't safe. So when I would play on a Venkabot stream, it would be extremely, extremely difficult to be playing with like Boot Camp or Haas or like Giga Scrub, like all those PS4 players that I used to play with.
They're really strong.
Yeah, like really strong players, and
Yeah.
it'd be a nightmare just like go through a lobby and not get any wins and see all of them racking up all the wins.
Yeah.
Like I look back at archives from a Venkabot stream because he posted them on YouTube, and I just look back at how I played. I'm like, man, if only I knew this, then this would have went smoother. But at the same time, it's those experiences that force me to learn because I get frustrated. And being frustrated is as long as you're okay with being frustrated in preparation for it, then that's all you need because that will just motivate you to do more.
Yeah, because frustration is what makes you go, I don't want to feel this way. I need to change something, right?
Exactly.
So you got to be willing to deal with that um, if you really want to get better, because it will happen as long as you are able to deal with that.
Right. It's just positive frustration. Like you're frustrated with
It is
yourself and not
positive.
your opponent.
Right. Right. And as long as you can understand that, then I think you're golden in this game. As long as you can understand that, um, it's not about their gameplay. It's not about the tiers. It's about you getting better and dealing with things that you didn't think you could before.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's literally just a limit break, right?
It's
It's
a limit
legit.
break.
It's legit just breaking through that barrier of I don't want to say it
That's easy
being.
for me to say,
Hmm?
but I'm a chum player, so
Yeah. Um. Well, I know. I feel like I know your answer to this question, but was there ever a time where you're either too confident and you lost, or too doubtful and you won? Like, how was your reaction to that?
often, very often am I too doubtful and I lose. And I'd say back in the 360 days, I used to be kind of full of myself. I used to be like, I used to just be like, yeah, I'm actually pretty good at this game, like.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would get frustrated like really hard when I lost because I didn't deserve that loss. But it's like, oh man, I don't worry about if I lose to like shenanigans anymore. Like
Mm-hmm.
as much. It still can bother me if it's like from specific people, I guess.
Right.
But, yeah, I would say often if you're not confident in yourself in this game, it'll crush you. If you're overly confident in this game, you will crush you.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's a
um,
very good example. Like, you're beating up yourself if you think you're the best of everything, right?
right,
Not only that, even if you earn it, you would still doubt yourself because no one's perfect. Like, even, let's say, Third Strike comes back to like Evo officials, someone wins Evo, they could get taken down by someone that never went to Evo before because they put in the work, you know?
well, it's like Punk came out of nowhere and was wrecking it in 5, right?
Right.
Like
Like
everyone's like, well, he
Punk is
existed,
a
but
really good.
he wasn't like top player in 4, right? He's just suddenly the best in 5.
Right. All it takes is just one lab session, then you just click, right? Or
It's just like I don't know. I think it's just a matter of getting. Well, I think this the game kind of fit him better, maybe. Right? Like he just
probably.
understands the game better right off the bat.
hmm
Hard work and dedication, of course.
hmm
Um,
Like J Motive said, 3S will humble you in the chat.
3S will definitely humble you, and if 3S doesn't humble you, then you have not broken through one barrier yet.
hmm Yeah, if it hasn't like if you just play 3S and just brush off everything, even if you brush off the wins, it's just like I mean losses. Even if you brush off the losses and like not give a damn about it, you're not gonna learn from it. You know, what if you get beaten by like a really high level player like Rakurai or like or if you get beaten by Justin Wong for example. If you get beaten by them, if you brush off that loss, you're missing valid information that you need to keep.
Yeah, that was another thing I was thinking. Oh shit! What did I do?
What happened?
Oh yeah, never mind. I refreshed it.
Oh, okay.
I was just wiping down my keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
But I forgot my point. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Uh, I can touch up on another thing actually. Uh, so what do you think like because I watch a lot of like variety and like fighting game streams, right? I watch like the main man Sui with Tekken 7. I watch like I forgot his name, the really good King player in Tekken 7 because I want to get into Tekken now. Um, but like those players in Tekken or like if I watch
The
Soul
guy who
Calibur
like
6.
left
Hmm?
for school or something and then came back and was like the best in Tekken again.
Wait, who?
The King player.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's who I'm thinking of.
hmm Like there's a video on YouTube where it's like the man who suplexed the world because he
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah. Okay,
yeah.
that's him.
Yeah,
That's what I
Majin,
mean.
Lil Majin. Yeah, thank you, Weather. Uh, so people like
Not
that.
Majin Obama, right?
Hmm?
Not Majin Obama.
No, no, Lil Majin.
Lil Majin. Okay.
Yeah. So like those people, I watch their stream and I see questions frequently asked like, do you have the fear of like someone younger than you or someone better than you, and they're just like they don't have as much experience as you do, but they just crush the tiers, or they crush the brackets. They just win after win because they have some weird mindset that just works.
Yeah.
And they
Some
always
people.
reply with, that is a definite possibility. Like, not, I'm not quoting them because it's multiple people, but what they all basically share in response to that, like, very, like, 30, 40-year-old, 20-year-old people saying, like, if there was, like, a very young person to play a fighting game and they successfully, like, just crush everything, that's actually very scary and very, like, good at the same time, right?
Hmm.
But what will that mean for, like, the old legends? Like, what will that mean for them? Because I don't want to use the
Keep them
term
honest.
they're washed up. They're not washed up. They're just very good at the game. Just they learned in a different era.
It keeps them honest, man.
Yeah.
You can't sit here and be like, I'm one of the top OGs, and then have some young blood come in here and scrape you,
Mhm.
and then still say you're, one of the best. You could still say like you're really good, you're one of the OGs, but like, if you want to still claim the title of being one of the best, then you got to keep up with the young ones.
Mhm. Right.
I think it's good. It keeps everyone honest. It keeps everyone humble,
Mhm.
except
And
for the young blood.
there's
He's a little cocky shit.
yeah. It's always that, like, that fear of, like, what if there is someone that will just take my throne? Because
Mhm.
evil world champions are always scared of that, because they already know the Justin Wongs, the Little Majins, the main man Sui's, but they're not afraid of them taking the throne again. They're afraid of, like, a new challenger. Like, here comes a new challenger, like, just painted on the wall.
Everybody everybody wants to get complacent. Everybody
Mhm.
wants to sit on their throne and be happy and just soak in all the rewards. Everyone wants instant gratification. But that's not how life works, and that's not how competitive anything works.
Mhm.
There is no complacency. There is no stagnation. You have to keep fighting, and you have to keep improving no matter what.
Mhm.
And those young kids coming in here with the fire,
The
holding to their
fire,
feet,
burning soul.
and they're coming in here hungry, and they're keeping everyone honest. So good.
Mhm. It's, like, also a good reality check whether or not you're young or old, right? It's also a good
It's a good
reality
reality
check
check
to
too.
know, like, okay, this is my threshold of skill, and once you understand, like, your healthy pace, because I know there can be some training sessions with other people where it's just like you burn yourself out in the first 8 hours, and it's like, man, I don't want to play this no more. I don't want to do this tournament no more, because it's like I just burned myself out. I don't feel like I'm having fun.
Hmm.
So once you find that healthy mixture of, like, okay, train for like 3 hours or something, or like 1 hour a day for like a whole week, then you just knock down 5 hours a week, and you're at a healthy pace. You know your limits. I think that is the key to, like, growing yourself. You just need to understand. Uh, you need to understand your limits first before trying to test someone else's limits.
Absolutely. And I think like if you're going in, I say labbing, like labbing, a lot of people have a hard time labbing
Hmm.
because they find it just tedious and boring, and they don't know what to do. Usually, I think more than anything, it's because people go in the lab not knowing what to do, and because of that, they're lost, and then they don't want to do it. Um, if you go in there with a plan, okay, so I'm gonna spend 30 minutes hit confirm. You'll probably end up spending like an hour to an hour and a half doing hit confirms and then doing combo practice. You know what I mean? So like,
Hmm.
um,
I'm
definitely
changing
go
the
in
tag to
with a
Third
plan.
Strike because we are kind of talking a lot about Third Strike. So it's fine. You can keep talking.
Three S category, so more of the 3S heads find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
That
just
was pretty much
changed.
the end of my point.
Okay. But, like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's super eye opening when people like that, like, just go out of nowhere, right?
it's a little jarring, but it's
Yeah.
not shocking, to me.
Yeah, you shouldn't be surprised that there's just, like, a guy that emerges out of nowhere and he's just really good. He just either has practiced a lot or he just has just talent. Talent exists
He's
in fighting games.
Yeah, absolutely. He was just boring with like you got Justin Wong and Chris G who just have sick ass fundamentals
Mm-hmm.
and just understand like spacing and the way people think really well. And they're always winning third strike, regardless of the fact that they don't play it at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So yeah, it
yeah.
doesn't surprise me. And even the opposite spectrum where you have like people like Daigo. Daigo's still playing fighting games and he's like 40. This
Right,
man should
right.
not have reactions anymore, but he's still playing competitively.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like also inspiring on the other side of the spectrum. You got knowing like you can come in hungry and just kind of take take the leashes, take the reins, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And also like even if you're established and you've been around for a long time, you can still hold the reins as well.
Mm-hmm. I 100% agree on that. Uh, so let's branch out from that topic and go to like I don't know. I feel like we've said like Weatherman said something. How do you guys feel about the mindset that sandbagging newer players isn't fun for either player? I've heard a newish player say this on stream a couple of days ago. Weatherman said. Um, my opinion from like someone that's like I'd admit that I'm in like still in a beginner intermediate level, right? You could agree with that. I'm still in like a beginner intermediate.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
so like when I'm fighting a high level player and they're sandbagging me on purpose, right? I don't think that's fun. I honestly like it's basically like if you watch Dragon Ball Z, like when Hercule let like when Hercule like let in the world tournament he would play like stupid and everything. He would just like, oh yeah, I let the kid win because, or that's a terrible example, but like, let's say it's like your sensei letting you beat them on purpose, but they're like at 10% power, right? And then you get a black belt for it because you beat your sensei in a match, but they were holding back all the way, like.
so even the way I see, I agree. I agree. Sandbagging is definitely unfun for both parties. I
Mhm,
guess if the other parties have troll, they'll enjoy it, but otherwise, I don't think it's actually enjoyable for either party.
mhm,
The high level person is actually probably having fun because they're probably doing it the intent to troll. But if
mhm,
they are not, they are doing it to try and teach you something. So that's also not fun. Um, just naturally until the student gets it. Right. That's
mhm.
kind of how teaching works. It's not rewarding until they get it.
All right, like
Um,
the whole "you're gonna learn today" thing with Justin Wong, right?
yeah. So like he just kept doing the same thing on them until the kid was get it. The kid never got it, but
Mhm,
that was the intent. Um, that's not really fun on my side either. But if I feel like you're
mhm,
not getting something in particular, then I'm going to try and drill you with it. I won't personally do that because I build bad habits that way,
mhm,
and I try to refrain from ever building bad habits. So I try to play as serious as I can in the moment as possible, and if that means switching to another character to make the matchup more even, then I will do it.
mhm.
So
Yeah,
that's what I
that's
usually do.
always like that's where the line is drawn, right? Where you pick a character, you're technically sandbagging, but you're also trying your best, but you don't know this knowledge of this new character that you're picking, right?
Right,
So
right. So
both
I don't have
parties
to
are
stand
trying.
ground,
Yeah.
but I'm still standing. I'm still trying to stand and get my win. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I am still handicapping myself. I don't think it's
I don't know.
I don't think it's bad.
That's a hard question though, because it's like, what if you just pick a character you have no clue what you're doing with, but you're still trying your best? Does that mean like, are you still sandbagging, or are you just kind of like,
Well, now I'm trying to learn something,
right?
right? So now I'm benefiting because I'm trying to learn character since it's at a level where I'm playing somebody at the same similar level as that character, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I can play and learn things, and I'm not crushing someone's soul at the same time. You know,
Exactly. Uh, J
I
Motive
kick out.
says. Hmm?
No, it's weather. Just reading weather.
Demoda says there's studies that show a newer player will need to win totally 1/3 on average for them to continue to want to play and get better and not get disheartened. So I find it can be a hard balance. He says, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
I can see that being 100% true. What was
like,
it?
hmm?
Gears of War did in I think Gears 2 and onward or 3 and onward, they added a mechanic for I think you had extra health on your first 6 what was it? On your first 3 kills? You spawn with extra health on your first 3 kills ever
Mm,
because people won't play the game if they don't get 3 kills in like a certain amount of games or something.
hmm.
So if they don't see like results when the first couple of games, then they're done.
Or like a motivating factor. Like, I want to play this game, but if I keep losing all the time, what's the point of playing this game because I keep losing, right?
Mhm.
Because people are
Mhm.
just gonna get unmotivated and
Well, why should I sit here and spend so much time trying so hard in this fighting game, which looks cool, right? It looks
right.
fun, but it's not fun because I have to learn things when I could just go play fucking Candy Crush and enjoy myself while sipping on wine,
Hmm.
right?
And
So that's kind of like like no one wants to really try, dude. It's just that at the end of the day, no one wants to try. And I can't say no one, but the people who aren't coming into the fighting game scene, the reason why the fighting game community is small is because people don't want to try.
Yeah, and that also shows that it's like it's not for everyone, you know. Fighting games
It's
are
also not for everyone. Yeah,
it's not for everyone. It's
there's
not.
that too. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of people I know out there that would be like great at fighting games. That would enjoy fighting games, but they don't want to get past that first hurdle.
Right. I know people that can like play really good Tetris, and I asked them like, you know how to like think on your feet a lot when you're playing Tetris, and you understand like puzzles and like solving like very hard problems very quickly because you have a limited amount of time before you can fix it, right? I always
Mm-hmm.
ask them like, have you ever tried like a fighting game or something, or have you ever tried like just doing something that like tests your mind against another mind besides just playing like cooperative or not cooperative, competitive Tetris? And then one of my friends that play it, they were like, I would try fighting games, but it's just like they don't see the rhythm. There's totally different rhythms with like Tetris and fighting games in general, and I could understand from that point. And that's where it sucks. Where it's like I wish everything had like the same rhythm to them. Like if I could play Tetris, I could play fighting games, or like if you could solve a Rubik's cube, you can play Tetris. You understand?
Well, that's kind of like why people stick to their own series, right? That's why Street Fighter players play Street Fighters, but Tekken players play Tekken. It's
Hmm.
kind of changed a little bit this generation because of how bad 5 was, but it used to just be that way. Like no one stepped outside of what series they were part of,
Hmm.
and that's part of why. It's because you can carry a lot of its legacy. You can carry those skills over. You see me playing Street Fighter 5, and like you can see my third strike influence in that gameplay.
Hmm. Like
I
tech
don't really
throws or
play a lot.
something. No one does tech throws in 5 unless they actually like know what they're doing, right?
No, they tick throw all the time in that game. The tick throwing so abusable in that game.
Really? I
It's
thought it was just like
yeah,
they throw you, then they like shimmy, then they throw you again.
shimmies. Sorry, shimmies. Shimmies are huge in that game.
Yeah. Unless you're Justin Wong. Justin Wong be playing everything exactly.
Yeah,
He could like go to Marvel 2, then like go straight to like Street Fighter like 2 Turbo and then just dominate
and,
someone right after.
and he just plays Marvel. Like he doesn't even touch the other games. He just plays Marvel.
Right. Because I've
He's
noticed on
always in the
Twitter,
top 8.
yeah, he's been liking Marvel a lot lately, and like ever since it was announced on Evo, it was like a big thing for people, right?
Oh, they're bringing back Marvel 3 for Evo. I didn't know
Oh,
that.
Marvel 2.
Oh, Marvel 2. Oh,
Marvel
okay.
2 is an official game on this year's Evo, but I think Evo got canceled, right?
Evo got canceled this year. Yeah,
Mm.
this
But it was supposed
past
to
summer.
be like Unist, Tekken, all those generic games. But they surprised everyone because it was their 20th anniversary. They were gonna do Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and it like shocked
I
everyone.
I think Marvel 2 on the 360 has rollback. That might be why.
You think so?
I think so. I'm not positive.
Mm. Well,
I think it
yeah.
has good netcode though.
That was like that was also a shocking moment for like old heads that just like playing old games. That one of their favorite fighting games are back on Evo and they can actually play for money and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like that's also another motivating factor. With sadly, money is also a motivating factor. That's why people like do prize pots and tourneys because they want people not only to play but to get something out of it. You know.
Yeah, but like they don't win anything over in Japan, so why do they have like such good competition? I mean, now we have it over here, right? But
Hmm. Do you
back in the
think?
day, we would have all the rewards, and they wouldn't legally be allowed to gamble or something.
Hmm.
So like, I guess tournaments counted in that field somehow, and they couldn't win prizes, but they still like played their hearts out and played fucking way better than we did. So how
Right.
does that work?
Yeah, a Japan player would screw me up, dude. Any Japan player. You could be the worst Japan player and you would still like be like on par with me.
My one of my best friends just married a Japanese woman. She knew who 12 was, and she just don't play Street Fighter, so I assume she's better than me.
She knows who 12 is.
She knows who 12 is. She's got to know. She's got to be better than me. She's a
That means
Japanese
she
woman
mains
who knows who
12. She
12 is.
knows all of 12's moves, dude.
She's actually Yamazaki, the jitter, the fucking crazy ass. You ever see him? Ever see him play?
No, I don't.
You got to watch Yamazaki play, dude. It's fucking bizarre. It's so wild. He's mad good. He makes that character look like it's worth playing.
Mm. J Motive said, how long have you been playing? And how did you get into it? How did you get into Street Fighter? I think you've asked that, but
Yeah, we did it earlier, but
yeah.
so I've been playing Street Fighter. I've been playing competitively since 2011 when I got into Third Strike.
Hmm.
A friend introduced it to me on the PS2, and I played it on pad until basically Online Edition was about to release. I bought the stick, played it on Street Fighter 4 until Third Strike Online Edition came out, and then I just stuck with that until about 2014 when I kind of like got disheartened. When I wasn't growing anymore and I got disheartened and stopped playing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I stopped growing in Third Strike. Street Fighter 5 dropped as a complete dud, and that's when I stopped playing fighting games altogether up
Mm-hmm.
until Fight K2 released. I've been playing fighting games, I guess, technically since I was a kid, playing like the Wrestling SmackDown games.
Yeah, I
But
remember those.
the earliest memory of like an actual, I guess, I don't even consider this one an actual fighting game, but it's Mortal Kombat 1.
Mm-hmm.
Just sweeping my friend or with sweeping my cousin on his Sega Genesis.
I remember some really crazy stuff me and my best friend used to do in third grade. Uh, what is it called? When I got my first, I still have it. It's an I don't want to get up and show, but I have like a very old Alienware gaming laptop. It was like 2007 or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I got that because it was a hand me down from my cousin, and we my best friend had the idea because he's like, dude, I know how to get this mod of Mortal Kombat 3, and I was like, what? Mortal Kombat? Why 3? And he was like, you'll know. So it was this Mugen, whatever you call it.
Mugen, oh god.
It was this Mugen mod of Mortal Kombat 3, and it had like 100 characters in it, dude. There's like 100
Mugen.
characters, weird alternate characters, and like different versions of them, and you could do combos for days. It was like air
Yeah.
combos. There's Scorpion. He would like punch you all the way across the screen, then he would use his chain to bring you back to him. It was really cool.
Mugen was so stupid, dude. You would have Marvel 3 combos in that game.
Right.
And like you would have Street Fighter 2 characters doing Marvel 3 combos. Like
hmm It was super like I want to talk about that. Like Mugen was such a big part of my life too. I never talked about this, but like now that I mentioned it, I'm so glad I did because that's when I actually like that's when I first got into coding and like making sprites and stuff.
okay.
I
That
used
makes
to make
sense.
like I used to rip them from what is it called? Let's say hopefully this isn't like wrong to say, but I used to like go to Steam, get a fighting game, then go to browse local files and take their sprites from the local files and then just make it into a Mugen file.
No, I'm sure that's fine.
Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
I would just do that and just edit the sprite and like do whatever I wanted with it, edit the frames and everything. So if I wanted a move to be faster, so I just could just make my dream character, you know?
I think as long as you're not profiting
No,
in
I
any
never
way and
did.
not distributing, you don't have to worry about copyright stuff like that.
Yeah, I put on the Mugen website. It was like very old.
Oh, you fucked up.
Oh, what?
No, I don't know.
Okay, I'll be right back. Someone's knocking at my door.
All right, so let me just look at chat, I guess. I think that's partial to you're not allowed to win money from competition in Japan because it's considered gambling and also dedication to whatever they do. Yeah, yeah, I guess that's it. Um,
All right, I am back. My grandmother is asking me
SmackDown
things.
versus Raw, 2007. I didn't play 2007. I stopped playing SmackDown versus Raw actually after the first SmackDown versus Raw
Mm-hmm.
because that game was such a dud compared to Here Comes the Pain, and then I kind of like stopped playing wrestling games after that.
Mm-hmm. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you again.
Okay, cool. Uh, J-Motive asked when did you play first? Who did you play first in 3S? Always the Chun main.
No, I was a Yun main originally. Originally, I started the game with Ken, and I was getting bopped, and then I just picked Yun because he looked cool,
Mm-hmm.
and I was doing like combos with him accidentally, but looking flawlessly, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like panic pressing buttons, and it was landing combos because I was just like panicking as he was falling perfectly,
Mm-hmm.
and they were just like, "Yo, you should play Yun." So I started maining Yun, and eventually found out was not my cup of tea. He's just I played him like a goddamn ape, you know? I
Mm-hmm.
played him so aggressively. It was not the way you're supposed to play Yun.
Monkey,
And
what they
a
call it
monk.
now.
Yeah, I monkeyed out. I unga boonged. That's how I played Yun. And I did learn kind of better how to like I did have decent neutral Yun. I did learn how to deal with situations better with him, but like preferably I like to unga boonga with him. So
Mm-hmm.
he was not my character. He was not meant for me. And I realized that after I started playing Street Fighter 4 and realized that Chun Li was my main in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went back to Street Fighter 2 and realized that Chun Li was my main in that game.
Like Chun-Li was everywhere. It was just like
Yeah,
that was my
because I had
calling.
not touched Chun Li in Street Fighter 3. I refused to at the time. I
Mm.
refused to touch her. So like I played her. Actually, it was Marvel 3 was the first game I played her in. That was like, holy shit, this character's mine. You
Mm.
know. And then it
Yeah,
was Street Fighter 4, and then Street Fighter 2, and then Tekken, Cross Tekken, and I was like, you know what?
Chun.
Even this past year when it came back, I was still looking at it. I was like, should I main Chun? I was like, should I do it? Should I
It's
pick
your
this
guilty
character?
pleasure, is what you're trying to say.
Because she just um tames me, I guess. You know,
Hmm.
she's the only thing that keeps me playing Street Fighter the way Street Fighter. And I play that game very well when I'm holding Chun.
Hmm.
Um, was it Yugo main before Chun? No.
Definitely,
Any
you
other
can tell.
characters I really want to put serious time into? I would say just Chun because I neglected her so hard for all these years when she's been my natural main this whole time. I got to catch up.
Hmm.
That's pretty much how I feel about that. Every other character, like I feel like I've kind of put enough time into to where I'm comfortable. Maybe Urian, I would like to be a little more comfortable with like his mid screen unblockable.
Hmm.
Um, Necro, maybe I like to be more comfortable with his stun combos, his elbow cannons. Just like little weird things for certain characters I would like to have just better. But overall, Chun Li. I just want to play Chun Li.
Hmm. And have you ever felt like
Remy, I would like to learn how to do machine gun Remy
the
properly. I can do it like after 30 seconds have passed. It's fucking Tuesday morning. I've had my morning coffee and
stars need to align on the 24th of September?
exactly. So I would like to be able to machine gun him pretty consistently. I
Hmm.
see people start the round doing it. I'm like, I don't know how the fuck they do that. You know? Like,
Right. The start of the round, machine gun. That's it.
yeah. I feel like there's a weird warm up period that they just completely skip. Like, you don't need that shit.
Hmm. Uh, what was I gonna say? I actually forgot. Wow,
My bad. It's
it's
throwing
okay.
off.
I probably threw you off more than you threw me off. It's okay. Jambotif says, "Why would anyone want to play Remy?" I mean, I actually I tell you that I wanted to be a Remy main. The first time I played Street Fighter. I thought he was really cool, and he was tall and had red pants, and I liked the color red. So I don't know. That's
Because he's
kind of what kind of did it for me. I was like, he has red pants. I like red. He has a good jacket. I like it, that jacket.
that's a nice jacket. He
Yeah,
dresses pretty fly for an emo guy.
yeah. But his stage is terrible, so I'm like, no, I'm good.
I do. I remember hearing somebody in the community actually refuses to play the stage because it causes them to go into epileptic shock.
Oh gosh.
Epileptic shock. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. I can see where that's coming from. So like, yeah.
I don't know how they deal with that in tournament. I guess they
Mhm.
just fucking. Well, on the on the cabinet. I mean, on the season you could select the stage, but on like arcade cabinet,
Mhm. Just
I don't know. Do they just reset the cab every time?
probably to
Make
see make sure player
the
one.
first person challenges?
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably. Man. I actually want to touch up on have you ever been to like a tournament event like a local?
Yes. So my friends actually used to run a local,
Mhm.
which is like where the HT my name comes from, or my old name used to come from.
Mhm.
So I used to be HT Raging Asian for anybody back in the 360 days. HT stood for Hostile Takeover, which was the organization, I guess, that ran tournaments.
Mhm.
There was future plans for it that were really cool. I actually have a lot of faith in Hostile Takeover if it comes back, but it's been on hold since we're kind of in our 30s and doing regular life shit, you know?
Right. J Motive asked, "What's both of your thoughts on Fight K2? Be that the fact that it came out, in my opinion, at the perfect time with the world pandemic. Thoughts on the New Bloods?"
Also, if I could too, the timing couldn't have been better.
Mhm.
Like I literally came back to fighting game the same week. I went on the Fightcade 1, got fucking bopped, didn't understand. I was like, I thought I was good at this game. What happened? And then Fightcade 2 came out, and everything felt cleaner, and I was doing better. And I was like, oh yeah, this is how the game feels. And then it
Yeah.
made me stay around actually.
Uh.
The new blood. I don't know. I got no thoughts on them, man. Fucking keep the hustle going, man. Get good.
Mhm.
Beat us all.
Yeah. I actually want to share this story on Fight. It's like a Fightcade 1 story. When I was doing Fightcade 1, I actually had my very first mentor. Uh, his name was Zirian. I don't know anyone out there knows him, but like I lost all contact with him when my first Discord account got hacked, and then I had to permanently wipe it. All my like old Fightcade 1 friends were gone, and
Hmm.
I had lost all contact with him. I tried to go on Fightcade 1 again, try to like see if I could talk to him or something, but I could not find him anymore. I don't know why. He was a Soul Cal player, he says, and he went to a local there. I don't know what his name is over there, but his Fightcade 1 name is Zirian with an X, like XRIRAANE or
Okay.
something. I don't know, but just like he was, I'm gonna give him all the credit in the world. He was the one that sparked my inspiration for Ibuki, cause I think I was playing Dudley at the time, and then he just blew me up with Ibuki. I'm like, dude, how do you do that? How do you do that? And then I went to a voice call with him in Discord, and he was like, yeah, so basically it's this, right? He just broke it down for me. He was like, this is what you do in these situations. I'm like, wait, there are situations? Like, I was so fresh to this game that it was
Yeah.
just like, wait, that's a thing? Or like, you do that? Or you
Well,
do
you
this
keep
if this
track of
happens?
these things. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was super interesting to actually get that spark from like a dude telling me. And then we always used to like spar on Saturdays and everything. And then I remember the very last call I had with him. Um, I I was showing him my new Ibuki because this was like I was still watching Venkabot at the time, but I was still doing Ibuki stuff and stand jab, stand jab, stand jab. Yeah, he was probably doing that. Um, I was doing Ibuki and then I beat him for once, and I out of all the times we've played, I've never beaten him, and then I beat him, and I was like, dude, you don't know how much that means to me, but like, I beat you, and I'm super proud of myself. And he's like, yeah, dude, just keep it up, but just remember that I'm pretty sure he ripped this out of somewhere, but it's the first time I heard it, where it's like perfect practice makes perfect, and I'm like, yes, like don't practice the wrong things and make a bad habit out of it.
Yeah.
You need to practice the right things and make a good habit out of it. And I'm like, okay, cool, I'll take that in mind. And then the whole hacked thing happened. I could not get in touch with him. I still very miss talking to him to this day. Uh,
That sucks.
yeah. Weatherman says, "Who do you guys think has the best 3S stream? Be it gameplay, personality, community?" I don't want to be biased. That's the thing. I don't know if I want to. Mm.
I already know exactly who. Um. Oof. Actually, so
I'm afraid of saying it.
yours is probably Venkabot, right?
hmm
Yeah. So
It's your stream, dog. Be biased. Okay.
yeah, yeah, dude. Say what you want.
I don't know. I feel like personality, community, gameplay wise, I think it's Venkabot because like he welcomed me with open arms. I found him in a PS4 public lobby, and then one of the people doing the lobby with Venkabot messaged me on PS4 and being like, "Hey, I saw you on stream, dude. You're really good." And I was like, "Stream? What? Where?" And then he was like, "Twitch.tv/Venkabot." And then I'm like, "What?" So I noticed like, "Oh, this guy's streaming. He's a streamer." And then I was like, I was just geeking out over it, you know.
Hmm.
I don't want to share my entire life story, but you can go on because I don't feel like, what do you think? What do you think?
So it's caught between Venkabot and Common Sense.
Oh yeah,
Um.
common sense is a very, very energetic guy. I really.
Very energetic, very what's the word? Charismatic. He's
hmm
extremely charismatic. He's just got that vibe to him. He's just got the energy that makes you want to keep coming back for more.
hmm
Um, but they bring on two different shows, right?
hmm
Venka brings this kind of like geeky but hilarious, subtle like energy to him, where you kind of like got to be paying attention to his little quips and like his mannerisms to like catch his jokes.
hmm
And
Common sense.
he's actually pretty fucking funny. But you have to be like paying attention to it.
hmm
And then he plays with like he plays with the community. He
hmm
invites people on PS4 for 2 hours, and he goes to Fight K, invites people for 2 hours.
hmm
He plays with whoever he can, and you get like the arcade experience out of it.
Right.
With Common Sense, Common Sense is the show. He's a great show.
hmm Right.
He comes in with all his energy. He's very entertaining. He's very, very personable. Um, the gameplay wise is usually just him beating up on people who can't deal with him at all.
hmm
So I'd like to see him face more people his own level. But outside of that, yeah, it's between the two shows of what you're looking for. They're the best of the Third Strike community in terms of like entertainment. In terms of skill, obviously, as Nika KO and Exodus, you want to catch their streams.
I remember. This is like props to Common Sense for
Common
this.
Sense.
Oh, he's in the chat. Nice.
He's pulling up.
He's pulling up in that Jaguar, bro. I love it when he says that. I don't know why. It's just like he has this charm where it's just like, dude. I sat down in Common Sense's stream just lurking, and I was like, okay, I need to do this for 10 minutes, and I need to do some homework. Tell me why an hour goes by, I'm still watching him, and I look at the clock, and I'm like, oh shoot, I need to do some homework. But at the same time, it's like, bro, but I love watching this guy. He's just like really good.
Yeah.
Like
he has me watching him for like 8 hours straight a couple times. You know, like a few times that he
Oh, you
streamed
said
like
8
for long
hours?
periods of times. I don't know if it was 8 hours. There was one stream where he did like 6 hours. He's just a dude that loves fighting games. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's literally all you need.
I'm so sorry. Don't be sorry, man.
Don't be sorry. Like, I think Common Sense is a good example of like, hopefully I'm not being disrespectful, but like, you don't need a lot to put on a show, you know?
Yeah.
Like, even if, you know, there are mistakes in the stream, or even if there's like, let's say something goes wrong or he has to end it early, like I could do that the same. Like I end my streams early sometimes, abruptly, and it's still like you don't need to be so perfect to just put on a show. All you need is just a laptop webcam, a laptop, and a bunch of notes right here to be asking questions to run a podcast, for example. You know,
like Common makes mistakes, right? He makes fun of himself for it all the time,
right?
So he still puts on a great show, and he gets a lot of viewers, and he gets people that just love watching him play, just love hearing him talk, just love to be around him.
Right. But like, yeah, it's just like it's the Common Sense gifts are legendary. Yeah.
Yeah. The gifts are fucking amazing. He puts a lot of effort into it. It's not like he just stumbled upon it and is just succeeding, you know? But that it's also kind of inspiring in his own way. It's like he didn't, from what I understand, he didn't plan on ever streaming. It just kind of happened, and then like he learned he really loved it. So it's like, you know, you never really know what you're gonna love until you dip your feet into it.
Exactly.
And you never know what you're gonna be great at until you dip your feet. So just keep your mind open.
And I think it's always like very, very strong to be transparent in like how you stream or how you make videos or whatever. I think the more people relate to you, or the more people notice that like, hey, this guy's putting on a show, but at the same time he's genuine, you know, you can feel the human through the screen because he doesn't sound like a robot or he's writing off a script, you know?
Yeah.
I think
he doesn't sound fake. He doesn't sound staged. I mean, there's a little flair for the stream every so often, but you got to do that sometimes. But he's very genuine. He's a very genuine person, and that brings in everybody.
Oh, Common Sense. Bro, I'm gonna throw these roses. If I still got that, yes, I do. I still got that sub, bro. Throw them roses for Common Sense.
Throw them roses. Where are mine? I got fucking so many subs now, dude. Like I just fall asleep in chats. Like bro, every day now.
It just shows, bro. It's like just as long as you got the work, as long as you got, you know, the motivation.
No, it's just I saw the chat. No problem, Common.
Yeah. It's like literally, it just comes like this, you know. It's just like as long as you show you're not being fake or anything, you know, you're very like you're very honest, very truthful, and you know you're very transparent. And I think that's all you need to just put on a good show. Just be yourself, and that's all you need. I don't know.
Absolutely. No.
I ran through my questions like 30 minutes ago, and you know I got kind of nervous when I ran through the last question because I was like, dude, it's been 30 minutes. You know, podcasts usually last a while. And I'm like, dude, what do I do? And then I was thinking that in my head while we were doing the what is it called? I got very nervous when I ran out of questions, and I'm just like, dude, what do I do? And then
it's good to have a lot of questions and then branch off from those questions. And like, it's like what you want to do is you want to write down a whole bunch of questions, like rehearse branching off from those questions. That's probably the best layout, so you don't overwhelm yourself with too many bullet points, and you're still coming prepared.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not easy. I don't
It's
know. I'm
definitely
not
not easy. I had so
close.
much butterflies on my stomach when I was like prepping for this and everything. We just hit the 1 hour mark right now, but we can keep going. I don't really care how long we go for, as long as you're fine with it.
I don't mind, dude.
Okay. Well,
And I kind of want to give back to you guys because I want to give back to you guys. I love it too.
mm,
I want you guys to love it too. Yes, yes, dude. We fucking love Third Strike. We all here
mhm.
for it. We love it. We're glad that you're here for. Oh,
Big
good times.
paragraph. J Motive, what's up? 1. Will we see the Common Sense giveaway vinyl on the backboard there? 2. What's your thoughts on where 3S will be by the end of next year? Do you think a lot more online events will come out? 3. Favorite players currently, Japan and outside of Japan, for both of you.
Ooh.
Uh, hmm.
Okay, you first.
Okay, so 1, will we see the Common Sense giveaway vinyl on the backboard there?
Oh yeah, I guess that's my question. So yes, you will. As soon as I get it, I don't know if I'm gonna put it on the backboard because I pictured myself putting it up here and then watching it slip and shatter.
Oh, yeah,
So
I actually have a vinyl up there. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite albums ever made by it's a rap album, and actually that's the vinyl cover over there if you can see it, or the stream. It's Triple X Tentacion. It's the album 17. It really resonates with me. So I have the vinyl. It's on my wall over here, and that's the cover of the vinyl back there.
yeah.
And what was I going with that? I don't know. I was just about to say I just have a vinyl. That's it.
You have more vinyls than I have. What's your thoughts on Third Strike? Will it be where Third Strike will be by the end of the year? Third Strike seems to have this weird, like stagnating, like self refilling population. It's really weird. Like you'll see people leave and come in, and the population seems to sit around the same.
Hmm.
So I don't think Third Strike's really going anywhere. I don't think it's going down. I think the amount of online tournaments we're going to see is pretty much stagnated.
Hmm.
I think who's established is going to do online tournaments is pretty much there. You might get maybe 2 more, but overall, it's pretty much what we got.
Right. Like the Tommy Two Step running Battle Royale Theater, uh, Spike doing
Squad
Squad
Strike,
Strike, uh,
Chaos with
Chaos Shoryuken, Street Budokai, right?
Street Buddha guy, yeah. And I think there's a beginner tournament by these guys. I forgot that they only allow people up to like intermediate level hunter.
Oh yeah.
Basically, once you start knowing what you're doing, you can't play. But
Okay.
oh, Deshiken, Denison. Sorry, Katuken Denison. That's where I got the
Yeah, yeah.
Deshiken.
Common Sense. Yeah, I agree. Common Sense. It was such a big departure. That album really resonated with me, and I just loved it. Jared, or let's finish off with J Motive, then we can go to Jared.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So favorite players currently in Japan. Currently, I think Mimura is still up there. Mimura is still one of my favorite players because he's just so fucking smart. He's just so smart with all his decisions. He's very
mhm,
um. I haven't gotten in with watching Chun yet because of my neglect towards Chun, and then like just me not watching videos in recent times.
mhm,
So I don't have like my probably my favorite Chun will be Nuki. Will most likely be Nuki, but we don't know yet.
mhm,
In the states, I like watching Common Sense a lot.
mhm.
I like watching Exodus a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, I might have to give it to Exodus as my
Exodus.
favorite to watch in America. Yeah,
Mhm. For me, uh,
just pure gameplay and
right.
like it will probably be Exodus.
Mhm. Uh, Dank Dank says Jay won't be doing tourneys of old games. He'll do another Third Strike tourney again. Really? Depends on what time that'll be. I'll probably enter it, low key. Uh, for me, my favorite players currently, Japan and outside Japan. In Japan, it is either uh RX because I've been watching a lot of Urian lately, and I forgot his name. I haven't watched him. Kuroda. There you go. I've been watching a lot of Kuroda DVDs on YouTube for Ibuki or like Necro lately, just because I just love the way Kuroda plays. Sadly, he's in jail, but you know,
Is he
uh,
still in jail? I don't think he's in jail anymore.
no. Oh wow.
No,
Uh,
that was a while ago. That whole thing.
really? Okay.
Yeah,
My best friend told me when he was showing me Kuroda DVDs that he was like, "This dude's in jail," and I was like, "What?
yeah. No, that was a
Third
long
Strike
time ago.
player?" You're right.
but he's still, he's gonna be paying for that socially for the rest of his life. So
Right. So Jared said, how do you guys maintain focus in long sets? How do you brush off getting tilted in game? What are bad habits you're currently working on? What steps are you taking to work on it? I
parrying.
Parrying, yeah. I was about to say. Mm,
So maintaining focus in long sets, I don't think I do maintain focus in long sets. I think I just come back. So I think I just come back to my focus after a certain amount of game. There's some games where I'll just be like trying to recollect who I am dealing with and what's going on, and I think I compile a lot of information, and then it all happens at once. So like, you'll probably see that best against somebody who's really high level to me. You'll see that I'm like really dishing it out first 2 rounds, and then I'm like holding back because I'm trying to gather things. It's a weird process, but over time it's gotten stronger, and I've been able to, I guess, last longer. So I just keep doing long sets. I think that helps out with that. How do you brush off getting tilted in game? The game just doesn't really tilt me. Unless the player is trying to tilt me, it doesn't really get to me. When the player tries to get to me, then it's like, who the fuck are you? Why are you trying to ruin my community? That's where that goes. But
yeah, I think I could touch on that with like I was watching. I've been recently watching a lot of Rakurai streams. And he makes a lot of valid points when he says like mainly nowadays streamers, like big medium streamers that stream Third Strike or any fighting game, there's always this one poser that wants to go in and just beat everyone up, and they're not doing it to get good, they're doing it to show off. And that is where you need to find out, like, community wise, who you need to pick as, like, who you want to rock with or who you want to play sets with long term. Like, for example, Spy, he always plays with Weatherman. He always plays with like Jared or someone else, right?
Yeah.
So you need to pick, like, not your favorite guys, but like your go-to. So when like, okay, it's time to play randoms now, but just have an open mind when you're playing randoms, because sometimes we'll just show off or taunt or something,
Yeah, I tend to stay away from randoms. I try to stay to people I know I can play with and have a decent time with. I have that luxury, I can make those I can thin people out that way, I guess. I don't know. But I forgot what the second question of that was. Do I agree with the way what Rockrai said there? Yes. What is it that Punk said? Punk FGC or whatever the fuck his name is. He was just like 95% of fighting game players, American fighting game players, are playing for clout. It's true. A lot of people are trying to serve their, look for recognition and not put in the effort. That's kind of just America.
Yeah. Sadly, though, that's how everything is, right?
Yeah.
It's just, you go into like an Evo, or you go into like Defend the North or something, and then you go in for like, okay, I'm gonna win and get this clout. Not like, oh, I'm gonna win and be the best, There's always something tied to being the best, and I want to be the best, or I want to like be. There's two different
Dan
sides
said it. Dr. Steelhammer said it in the documentary. He said, "I'm not trying to be the best. I'm trying to be the best I can be."
Right. Yes, that is exactly what I'm trying to say.
That's how you need to enter these games. That's how you need to enter Third Strike. Because I need to be the best I can. And if you can see that, you'll find success, and it'll build your character. It'll truly humble you and give you the rewards you're looking for at the same time.
I agree. Il Murray says, I love clout.
He loves the clout.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. J Moto says, I think this is why it's important to keep sets rolling when streaming, first to 3, first to 5s. Right, because you don't want to keep playing this one guy all the time, then you just burn out from playing him. Then
when you're streaming, you want to play randoms. Variety. Everyone wants to see multiples. So that's why it's like Spice started doing first to 5s with friends, because it was and it's like I would play the sets with, like, you have seen me play long sets. Like, I'll play like 50 game sets. I'll play like 70 game sets. Like, I'll just play this game until my brain doesn't work anymore. And I will still play it.
Right.
Because I just love this game that much.
What's crazy to me is that, like, I see you do that one day for like 8 hours straight, just like play Necro, for example. That's like the latest thing you did, right?
Yeah,
And then I see you the next day for another 8 hours, and I'm like, dude, you're crazy. You at the same
I
time,
am.
you know, as long as you're eating and everything,
Yeah. So I still take care of myself. I
right,
still go
right.
for like a jog in the morning.
But it does kind of like, dude, I can't even imagine streaming for 8 hours straight. That's crazy. Like, mad props to you, honestly.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Let's see how many more years I can hold that up for. But
Right.
for now, yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, it doesn't really. It's kind of like just my mentality in general. Like, I actually had to use. I used to have to tell myself when I was younger, like, you don't get paid. Go on break, because I would just be bored,
Hmm.
and I would want to work through and get to the end of the day.
Hmm.
But and it came faster if I worked through lunch. But you don't get
Hmm.
paid, so fucking go take your lunch. You know?
Hmm. Yeah. That's like really, like, I don't know. It's just like real life events can really occur with fighting games and like how you view fighting games and how you view real life.
Mm.
Uh, I think I actually missed a.
No, that's actually something I wanted to touch up on too. Like
Hmm.
people like may think that I actually just naturally am really like, really good at this game because of the time I put in, but I actually put in a lot of hours into this game. It's just not.
Hmm.
It's very condensed. It's
Hmm.
very condensed amount of hours. I learned how to play this game on laptop early on just because I wanted to play it, and all I had was my laptop.
Hmm.
So that's how I learned how to keyboard. Um, Played pad because PS2 was the only version at the time that was like playable.
Hmm.
Um, the hell was that? Never mind. And then eventually learning on stick. But I put, I'd say easily thousands of hours into Third Strike,
Hmm.
easy
Without a
in
doubt,
the
yeah.
three years that I played.
Hmm.
So it's you want to get good at this game, you do have to try. You do have to put into it, and you do have to put time and the energy.
Hmm.
But it will reward you.
It will, yeah. Like that winning like satisfaction factor is just like a really good adrenaline. Like when I won Jazzy Fight Night, I was just like, dude, like I'm not gonna tell. Like I think I told you this, so I cried when I won because it was just like, dude, this was such a big moment for me because I put in so much effort, I put in so much time, and like I executed it. I would even admit I executed it halfway. Like I made a lot of mistakes in that fight, and it was just super super hard. But I just didn't give up. It's just the will to win, like how Daigo's book is, right? Just the will to win.
I just thought you should add into the center of the screen is the chat log, scrolling down.
Oh yeah, I should. Yeah, because it's like yeah.
That would be good.
I'll do
I don't
that.
know if it does retroactively, but it'll pull up whatever comes next.
Hmm.
Um, I didn't read Daigo's book. I still have it. I bought it and never read it.
Oh, I
So
never
I
even
should
touched
actually
it.
look at
I
it.
never read a single page. I just know the cover.
Yeah. I have it on my the hell's that thing called? The Kindle.
Oh.
And no, I haven't even looked at it yet.
Hmm.
Because reading's for nerds. No. I just procrastinate reading.
Hmm. Yeah,
But
I
I have it.
haven't. The recent book I've been reading the comic book series Saga, but I just didn't read it anymore.
Hmm. I do see here chair creaks. Yeah, sorry guys. I did buy a new chair for a minute, but it was really, really shitty, so I returned it, and I'm
The
back
white
on
one,
this.
right?
The white one, yeah. That one was so uncomfortable. I actually like my ass was hurting after like 3 hours of sitting in that chair.
Oh
It's not the
gosh.
answer. It's like I do long streams. I need a better chair than this.
Mm-hmm.
And you shouldn't feel sore in a chair after you just bought it. That's a shitty chair.
Mm-hmm.
Return that piece of Amazon racing chairs. Don't buy them.
Yeah, yeah, I could get where you're coming from on that. My uncle bought exactly what you had, except it was blue. And then it was very funny because I was like, dude, I want a chair like that. And then I see him buy it. He's sitting on the chair for like 3 days. The weekend comes. I go out to the backyard to throw out the trash. I see the chair out in the alley. Like it was just super like why did he throw it out in the alley? Is it just not working or something? But I asked him, and he's like, no, this chair just sucks.
It's just bad.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I just see the chair in the alley in perfect condition. I'm like, dude, can I just take this in? He's like, you won't like it. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's really, really bad, dude. They were really, really bad. Hail Mary with the Herman Miller.
Hey, those
Okay.
office chairs are like really good though.
I'm sorry, I don't get the reference. I don't watch movies. I feel like that's a movie reference.
It's okay. It's like it's the same thing with Il Murray not liking certain foods. I'm not gonna get on this topic. I'm just gonna say that and leave it.
All right.
uh, so I feel like closing this out. So let's close this out with the final topic. Then we can just like call it. I think this was a very successful podcast in my opinion. What do you think?
I had fun. I thought it was good.
Yeah, I actually think it went so much better than I thought it would. Like I'm gonna be straight honest with you. Like I honestly think like for this first episode, it went like how I thought episode 30 would go because I don't have that much experience talking so much on stream.
Mm.
Like if you were to see my streams, I would just like talk a little bit, then play, then talk a little bit. But this is like no, I'm constantly talking, and I just for some reason I love it. I think this is what I'm more comfortable with. Just
It's
doing.
because you have someone to engage with. When you're streaming, you may not have somebody to engage with at all,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where it gets a little difficult.
Right.
If you can maintain that, like constantly like chatting with somebody, like you're at the bar,
Mm-hmm.
even though you're not really chatting to anybody because everyone's too drunk to really be listening to your bullshit anyway,
Yeah.
and you're fine. You're
Right. You're
good.
fine. You're technically talking to yourself in the mirror, but yeah, you're fine.
You're fine. Then you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
But it may otherwise be difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Last question: what's your number one game of all time? Go Third Strike, easy.
Like fighting game.
No, just period. Third Strike.
Oh, a Third Strike and Luigi's Mansion because I freaking love that game for the GameCube as a kid.
Mm.
J Motive said, "What's some things both of you have learned that surprised you since you started streaming? That what was it called? That people would watch. That's literally I never thought in a day of my freaking life that people would watch me sit down with a face cam from my phone or a laptop cam and then just have a fight stick and just play. Like I never thought in my entire life that I could do that and then people would watch me and enjoy watching and comment, you know?
Same, same. I never thought it would actually like. There's a couple of things that really surprised me when I started. But I didn't think I was that. I started coming out my shell around the same time too, I guess.
Mhm.
Just like generally, like I've always been out of my shell with people I kind of like established a relationship with a little.
Mhm.
Um, but I've been coming out of my shell a lot more generally, and
Right.
that's probably because of streaming. But before, like other than before that, it's like surprising to me that people actually find me very personable and enjoyable to talk to,
Mhm.
and liked watching me play video games. Like I thought that was wild,
Mhm.
because I don't think I'm personally that good in any of the games because that's the self criticism, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
same with me.
and I don't think I'm really entertaining as a human being either. But
Yeah, you're just
I
trying your
guess I
best
am.
and hoping that you're entertaining. That's what I just think.
Yeah, just say shit, man. Be you,
Mhm.
and I guess it works.
Yeah. Weatherman says Luigi's Mansion. I got the S Rank Mansion for the first time last week. It took me like 6 hours just farming money. I remember I didn't even know money was a thing in that game when I was a kid. I was just like beating the game over and over. And I don't know if this was a word that went around, but like my cousin that gave me the game as a hand me down, he told me like, hey, if you beat the game 3 times in a row, you get to play as Mario. And I'm like, really? So I beat the game 3 times. I got those 3 stars underneath the EGAD radar thing. Uh, I got those 3 stars because once you beat the game and replay it as like a new game plus or something, you get a star, and then it shows you beat the game. I had 3 stars, and I was super upset, but at the same time, I enjoyed every second of it. You know,
Mm.
it was just like I think I feel like there was a message behind that, but uh, at the same time, I was just more pissed that I couldn't play as Mario.
Yeah, my giggle is is something special. I get shit for that all the time, but it's I don't know. It's mine.
Yeah, we all got our signature laughs or something, right?
Yeah.
All right, this is gonna be the last question, but I'll take it from J Motive. Uh, what are some things that you both would like to see from 3S community that there currently aren't? Example. I think you're trying to say.
Yeah,
Better way for
example. EG is example.
hmm,
EG and EX being an example.
hmm. A better way for beginners to break in and get information, new tutorials online, etc. Um, I would like to see. What would I like to see? I just wish there is like not spread out streams that would have their own communities. I wish, and I wish so hard, but I don't think this would happen, that there is just one hub that everyone would go to. Uh, it is just one hub everyone would go to. They would get information from every, like, imagine little streamers, but they're connected to a big streamer, like you know how YouTube is with like AdSense and like companies that everyone's tied to, right? Like Machinima, for example. I want like a Machinima, but like for Third Strike or something, or our own streaming platform for Third Strike, or like for fighting games, Street Fighter. So we have everything. The site is made for Third Strike, and then it's like Twitch where you see all the people on the side that just play Third Strike, and then you can just go to them, ask questions for every one of them. They get paid because there's still ads and everything. You know, I would like that, just like hubs for other games.
That'd be cool. Up into the asking people questions thing. Like once it gets to a direct line, it's like I don't want no direct lines.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the hub would be awesome, having just all the information in one place,
Mm-hmm.
and just like even if it's not like okay, all the information, you know, like the Shend, you're not gonna re-upload everything the Shend fucking did. You're just gonna post the Shend link somewhere in that page in that hub.
Mm-hmm.
But do that kind of with all the information. You want Chun-Li stuff? Here's all the videos of Chun-Li stuff. Like the Guilty Gear has a hub like that, right? The Accent
Deathloop.
Core game. That's awesome.
Yeah. Where it
I
actually shows like comparisons, like if this big person ever fought this person, and like what this video would be like, and it shows like let's say I'm an ABA player in Guilty Gear, and I look at ABA players, and then there's other players that play other people, and I'm like, has this ABA player ever played against this player? And then it tells you if they have in any video
mhm.
they find, and then I can just see how that situation would go. It's like super simple and it's super strong, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Um, me.
What'd you say?
No, I'm trying to think what I would like to see.
Oh,
Definitely the new players getting in and keeping them in. Like, how do you keep them drawn to this game? How do you get them to stay past the first hurdle?
mm-hmm.
I think once you get past the first hurdle, you're hooked, right?
Right.
Once you get past the first hurdle, like that's it. Like you understand Third Strike why it's such a good game. Then.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like an initiation sort of thing, right?
Right.
Where it's like
How do you
once.
get people to stick for the first initiation?
Mm-hmm.
You know, how do you get them to stick for the initiation? How do you do that? That's what I want to find out. That's what I want to figure out and fix, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Um yeah, that's the big thing I really want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Example tutorials online, etc. It's a good way of keeping each week they want to get back, build rivalries.
And build
I mean,
rivalries.
that's a
Yeah.
big one. Whether definitely don't be addicted to new players. I
Mm-hmm.
stand by that 100%. You see a new player, you see them being new, you know, maybe
Mm-hmm.
you reach out to them.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I ask new kids that seem very oblivious all the time, like, do you want any advice? Or do you want, you know, yeah, that's pretty much all I ever say. But
Mm-hmm.
they almost always say yes. Almost always say yes. Or they won't respond because fuck you, I guess. But
Mm-hmm.
they almost always say yes. So just, you know, ask them. If they might be too scared to intimidated to ask somebody better than them, like, how do I play? They might be
Yeah.
terrified.
And also, it's also one of those things where it's like you're a big streamer, right? And then you decline someone that's very small. What if they get very big and even better than you, you know?
Yeah.
And then they shit on you, and you can't do anything about it because now you're lower than them. It's kind of like how that is, right? And that's also another, not a fear, because you shouldn't even have that fear if you're telling people to f off, right? You shouldn't even be doing that
Mhm.
in the first place. But I'm just saying,
Right.
like, if you decline someone, if they become bigger and better than you, and they just have a bigger community and everything, you can't talk
Yeah.
smack because you bit yourself in your mouth, you know? You stuck your foot in your mouth.
Yeah. If you're, I guess, if you're one of those people to be a dick, then yeah, like, well, it's gonna end up hitting you in the back. Like, what if they do get big? What
Mm-hmm.
if they, I don't know. What if people have heard that you were being a dick, and this guy's actually the nicest person in the community, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you just lost being able to play games with everybody. Like this community is too small for that shit.
Right.
So just I don't know, just be a human. Fuck, it's not that hard.
Yeah. Jared says, I think ease of access of information is a huge factor. We have those discords with tons of information, but I don't know many people who would be willing to go through months of channel logs to get that information. A central hub of documented advice would be huge, right?
Yeah, absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, absolutely.
Uh,
It's just we don't really have anyone. I think the Shen was probably the closest person that would be willing to do something like that, and he's
mm-hmm.
been completely retired from the third strike scene as far as I know.
Right. They still do like Twitter stuff, but that's as far as they go, you know?
Well, yeah, everyone's too busy promoting their own channel and their own Twitter to actually make a general use
For
hub
everyone.
for everyone.
I think they're
It's
not gonna do
too
it.
little beneficial for them to do that.
Right. We just need someone like that. And to
I'm too
admit
disorganized to do something like that. So
yeah. Yeah. I think that'd be a good place to end it off there, right?
yeah, yeah. And very important to support each other's third strike streamers. Yeah, I
Exactly.
like supporting the third strike streamers as much as I can.
Right.
No one's streaming third strike, then I'll look at other games. But I usually check third strike before anything else.
So, I actually want to make this a thing where after every podcast, I give you a potential next guest, or at least someone I'll be trying to shoot out for. So, the next guest, I'm debating between either Venkabot next or episode 2, or what is it called? There is this Tekken streamer because I want to have variety with this podcast, right? It's not only Third Strike, it's for fighting games too. So I'm looking out for a Tekken streamer that I know very well that I'm willing to like ask them if I could like do a podcast with them, right? Or if they decline or if they say they don't have the time to, then I'll ask Venkabot. And I asked him on stream a couple days ago, and he said he'd be down, but I just need to get into contact with him.
Yeah, actually, Venka's insight on not the dirt. We don't need the dirt, but the insight.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely reach out to Venkabot and see like because I know he has a lot of family stuff going on right now, and he has to take care of the stream and prep the stream and do YouTube's videos, right? So I know he's a very, very busy guy. So I'm gonna see like I always want to make sure the guest's priority first. I don't want to work on my schedule. I want to work on their schedule because it's their importance. I want them to feel comfortable, like how I made you feel comfortable here. Like,
Yeah.
I told you, like, I want to work on your schedule because I don't want to say like, let's pick a date. You got to run by this date. I don't want to be like
Yeah,
that.
it's a good approach if you're working with people because you want to keep them comfortable if you want to get the best out of them, right? So
Right. It's like, thank you for, coming on here, man.
no, thank you for having me. It was fun.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. This was actually like I had more fun than I thought I've had, and I really enjoy doing this. Like, it's not something that would make me stressed or anything.
Yeah, it was very enjoyable. The only anxiety in the beginning before we went on, and that was pretty much it. Kind
Yeah,
of went away after that. It
great
was a
stuff,
good stream.
guys. Yeah,
Thank
thank
you,
you,
everybody.
J-Motive. Thank you guys for watching. Please, I was looking at the viewer count while I was doing this, and I was like, man, I'm really happy that people want to watch, and like, I'm maintaining viewers like that.
I do gotta admit, I looked at it a couple times, and that was what's distracted me on one of my that I lost was the
Yeah,
viewer count
yeah, that
fluctuating.
like
I was like,
my eyes are like widening up. I was like, whoa, really? Yeah, word. Thanks for the stream, guys. It was enjoyable. Thank you guys so much. It's just like, I really want to just make this a thing. My whole point of making this community for my channel is just for the community. It's not for me. Like, if I get money from like ads or donations, I'm probably most likely 10 to 1. I'm gonna give it back to everyone. It's not, it's not a need. It's a, I really need to just give back because I really owe it all to you guys.
giving back to the community is the best way to deal with anything you've earned, I
Mm-hmm.
guess.
Jimotive says, "Do you have a time you'll plan for these Sundays or just as and when? Will you post in 3S Discord so we know when the next one is prior?" Yes. My Twitter is when I'll most likely because this one just came out of the blue, right? I announced that I'd be doing a podcast series, then today out of nowhere I posted on Twitter that I'd be doing it in 10 minutes, right? I think that was very, very scatterbrained. So this time I'm gonna like just advertise it in some Discords, post it on Twitter at least a week beforehand, right? Yeah, thank you, J Motive. Um, and I'm just gonna make sure everything's prepped beforehand and make sure everything's locked in and loaded. You know. So yes, I'll definitely be more organized next time. But I'm so glad this went so well. All right. Well,
All
I'm
right.
gonna end stream. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this because I did. So see you
Thanks again
guys.
for stopping by, guys. Have a good one.
Mm-hmm.